Hello and welcome to Unmuted. I'm your host, Courtland Warren. You know, the more I study success and successful people, high achievers from all walks of life, and we'll have you define success in whatever way you want to have it be. It could be successful in raising family. It could be successful in business, generating money, your health, pursuits, or so forth. Whatever you want to deem success. Here's one thing that I've found, and it's actually one of those things that, you know, it's one of those truths that's hidden in plain sight. Anyone of you, are you guilty? I know I am, of sometimes making things more difficult than they have to be. Anybody like that, right? Where you find yourself making things harder than they have to be. Maybe some idea that, well, the harder it was or the harder I make it, then the more worthy of it or deserving I am. But that's a different podcast topic, perhaps. But here's what I've noticed about success and successful people. It's this. It's ultimately that they win this battle of attrition. They win the battle of attrition. What they've determined is that they will not give up. When we look at the term grit, or this idea of grit, which is pretty popular in personal development circles right now, grit is really just your commitment to give up last. Does that make sense? Like, you just determine that you're going to be the last person who quits. And typically, if you're the last person who quits, you win. It's you know, in the word attrition, it's going to go back to that definition, right? Attrition by definition is the action or the process of gradually reducing the strength or effectiveness of someone or something through sustained attack or pressure. Okay, the action or process of gradually reducing the strength or effectiveness of someone or something through sustained attack or pressure. And so winning this battle of attrition is basically the understanding that, yes, there's going to be challenge, and yes, there will be difficulty. There's going to be pressure applied. And what happens is that pressure that gets applied slowly or gradually, it wears people down. And so if you can determine, and that secret that's hidden in plain sight, that secret that's right there in front of us, is a lot of times the person you see winning is the person who refused to quit. That person that you see winning is the person who determined that no matter what, they were not going to give up. And the more I study success, the less complicated it becomes. The more I research highly successful people, the more I'm around them. And it's one of the reasons why I am adamant that environment is one of the keys. Because when you change environment, your level of awareness expands, and now you see more as possible. But also, it is also true that the more you're around highly successful people in whatever field of endeavor you desire, then you start to see that they're not these mythical creatures. You'll actually start to see that they have some flaws. The closer you get to them, the more you'll see that they make mistakes too, that they make errors also. And I'm not talking about the people who on social and otherwise want to just criticize those who are winning and achieving. This is not, and those people likely don't listen to this podcast, so pardon me for taking the time. But I'm not talking about those who can sit back and poke holes in those who are excelling, achieving, and winning. And I'm not saying you get close to them just to see that they're not perfect or to recognize their imperfections. What I'm speaking of is the closer you get to it, the more you see it and witness it, there's a part of you that starts to see that you can do it also. There is great truth to this idea of being able to frame it this way. If they can do it, I can too. And the closer you get to greatness, the more you'll start to see that in many instances, they're not even smarter than you are. In many instances, there are things that you can do much better than they can, that you have skills and talents that exceed what they're able to do. And so by getting yourself in proximity of those who have weathered it, to get yourself in the proximity of those who have endured the journey, it actually enhances your confidence. I had this experience just last week when I was at Build 23, and Brent Gove and particularly Rick Jiha, Casey Council, Rosie Rodriguez. I'm really grateful to them. And through EXP and the founder, Glenn Sanford, really got to meet some amazing people, and not just meet and shake hands, but actually be around them for a few days. And my consciousness expanded as I listened to their vision, as I watched them work, as I watched the discipline, as I saw people leave dinners and leave conversations because of other commitments they had, and how solid they were in that. But I tell you, there was not anything that I witnessed that I didn't also believe that I could do. And but you also are part of those conversations, and listening into those conversations, everyone, yourself included, has stories of someone who was once there that no longer is. And how much time do we spend looking to bring people with us who just aren't ready to go? Be they friendships, be they family relationships, under this idea of being true, under this idea of not selling out, under this idea of remembering where you came from. Someone came to me with that, like, oh, just remember where you came from. And I'm like, why? Right? And that's not a diss. That's not, to say I don't love, family and friends, but what we were looking to come out of, what we're looking to build ourselves away from, is definitely worth leaving behind. There is no question about that. Does that make sense? Okay. So this battle of attrition, being the person who's going to be last to quit, to be that last woman standing, to be the last man standing, the last person standing, because your reason for doing so outweighed the comfort that may have come, or the release that may have come by succumbing to the pressure. And so what we'll explore then today is a framework for not quitting. Again, obvious. This could be, maybe this is third grade, but there's nothing wrong with, in my view, exploring again the fundamentals. Okay, we can never get too great that we forget the fundamentals. And I'd never really explored a framework for not quitting. It was just always just don't. But how do you not quit? Because not quitting can be challenging, but there are some strategies that will help you to stay inspired and to be able to persevere, or, as you know, one of my favorite words, be resilient. First and foremost, if you're going to go and if you're going to win this battle, if you're going to be the last to give up, the last to give in, if you're going to be the last person standing, then you got to have a reason for doing it, and understanding the deeper reasons behind what your goals and aspirations are. Like when you have a strong sense of purpose and a clear understanding of why you want to achieve something, it becomes easier to stay committed and to overcome the obstacles. Now, I'm not as much a fan of this idea of starting with why and knowing your why. You got to know your why. You got to know your why. I mean, it's a fun book to read. Really proud of that, Simon Sinek, the author. But I've also, in my years of experience, I've seen so many people get stuck in that. I've seen so many people get bogged down in their why, looking for some deeper meaning or purpose. And anything that causes people not to get started, then I want to shy away from. Okay. So I want you to know why you're doing it, but not in this esoteric sense of, okay, I got to know what my why is. I got to know what my purpose is. I just want you to have a reason that's bigger than you. And a lot of times, what will assist and support in that is making sure that someone else wins when you win. If you can ensure that, and those who will, and ensure that those who will win are important and valuable to you, then you're likely you're more equipped to sustain it. Okay. Then so we're gonna know the why. Like your reason for doing it. Number two, if you're not going to quit, okay, and this is a framework for not quitting, knowing why, or the importance of why achieving it matters. Number two is for you to set realistic expectations. See, one of the reasons that more people fall off is because they overestimate what they're able to do in the short term. Please understand what I just said. They overestimate what they can do in the short term. All right, so they just jump out like gangbusters without the conditioning, without the discipline to sustain it. Now, one of the things about human beings, though, is we overestimate what we can do in a short amount of time. We underestimate what we can do over a long period of time. Okay, so we give ourselves too much credit to start, and we don't give ourselves enough credit over time. Does that make sense? Okay, so my encouragement to you is that you set realistic expectations for the journey ahead, and recognize that your progress may not always be linear, okay? Like step by step by step by step by step, okay? Like this is going to lead to this, and this is going to lead to that, and this is going to lead to this. How many of you have had those well-designed plans that you wrote out very meticulously? You were very specific about exactly how it was going to play out, only to discover that the first move didn't even go the way you thought it would. Okay, so you got to be prepared that it's not necessarily step by step or linear. Okay, and there is no way to set it up where you don't have setbacks and obstacles. That's a normal part of the process, and it's actually that part of the process that's building the mindset and the resilience for you to sustain what you accomplish and achieve. So one of the things that you can do as you begin to lay out your perfect plan is to go ahead and incorporate some contingency. So this is what I'll do if this obstacle or challenge comes up. It was one of the ways that Napoleon Bonaparte, it was one of his strategies in war, was that he would lay out a plan, and then he would try to put on the mind of the opponent and what obstacles or challenges or adversities they might present. And then he would begin to work on a plan. So he would start to work on a fix or a solution to a challenge that hadn't even come up yet. Now translate to your life, my life. What if we did that? Rather than looking to avoid challenges and looking to avoid adversity, what if you said, okay, let me take some time now and anticipate what could arise, and here would be my plan or strategy for dealing with that. I promise you it enhances or increases your confidence when you know that you've already set in place some contingencies if things don't go perfectly or accordingly. All right, so first we say, okay, know why I'm doing it. Number two, it's about, in addition to knowing why I'm doing it, it's, okay, I'm going to set some realistic expectations. All right, I'm going to build some momentum. I'm going to get some early wins as best I can. Then, number three, if you're not going to quit, you want to break it down. So you're going to take the large goal that you have, that thing that you want, and you're going to break that larger goal into something smaller, more manageable to deal with. Okay, why? Because you want to have incremental wins along the way, so you give yourself something to celebrate. If you set your life up to where you can only celebrate and acknowledge when you finally reach it, then the delay in celebration is too long, and it's likely that we don't have the willpower muscle built up for that just yet. So you want to break it down, you want to break the larger goal into something smaller and more manageable, so that along the way you can check the milestones and give yourself, even if it's temporary, a pat on the back. This will also enable you to focus on one step at a time, and thus keeping the momentum and the motivation alive. So it's like when you are focused on the steps in the process, winning the day, as I'm one to say, you win the day. Do the little things, right? And if you already know that path you're on, that journey that you're on is going to ultimately reach that destination that you aspire to, then just staying on the road, staying on the journey, loving that process and who you're becoming through that process builds momentum. and sustains the enthusiasm. Does that make sense? Okay. So we're going to say, all right, I know why I'm doing it. I'm going to set some clear expectations. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to take the larger goal. I'm going to break it down into some smaller chunks. Then number 4, I want you to not do it alone. In fact, I want you to find some support. I want you to surround yourself with a network of friends, family, mentors, people who believe in you and in your goals. And it is important that you seek out their encouragement along with their guidance. Why? Because when the challenges come up, you need to have someone that you can connect with that's been through what you're going through. One of the challenges is oftentimes we're sharing our dreams and we're sharing our goals with people who haven't done it and can't see it. And if we do that too early on in the process, now our confidence wavers. It kind of shakes our confidence a bit because someone we know, love, and trust doesn't see what we're seeing, or they don't believe in us, and it will actually cause you to question. Okay, so you want to put yourself in environments through attending conferences, go to live events. Yes, make the investment to be at a live event, a live conference, a live workshop, a live seminar. Why? Because in those environments, you're going to meet people who think like you, and you're going to hear from people who've been where you're looking to go. And that cannot be done through listening to a podcast, even though this one is great. Okay, right? That cannot be done listening to the YouTube videos. That cannot be done only through reading books. At a point in time, you must be willing to make the investment. And maybe for you, that starts with, okay, I'm going to, because it's where I'm at and what I have, I'm going to make an investment to attend this live webinar, training, or workshop. And then you get to a place where, okay, I'm going to buy a ticket. I'm going to get a hotel. I'm going to have, I'm going to budget for my food, and I'm going to attend a live event, a conference within my industry, or an industry or area where I'm excited about learning and growing into. Please do this, because there's nothing more powerful in my experience than live events. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I'm telling you, last week at Build 23, my confidence grew, my confidence soared. Just being around people who were winning, being around people who were doing extraordinary things, who were defying the odds. Find support and surround yourself with a network of friends and the family members who get it, and mentors who see where you're looking to be, and they'll be there to encourage you. Number 5, you got to embrace the learning. You got to embrace the learning, that means that there's going to be some failure along the way, because that's what the failure is, like what does all the teaching. Like, think about it. Do you learn more when you lose or from when you win? Likely you learn more from failure than you do from winning. So shift your perspective on failure. Instead of seeing it as a reason to quit, view it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Like, failure is a very natural part of the process. And each and every setback provides valuable insights and lessons that can propel you forward. We've got to change our relationship with failure. We've got to change that relationship, because that's where the learning takes place. Okay. So when we look at then just stages of learning, right? You have the first stage is unconscious incompetent, right? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know it. I don't know what I'm doing. Then you have the conscious incompetent. Now I actually am aware of the fact I don't know what the hell's going on, right? Then from unconscious incompetent, and you have the conscious incompetent. Then you have the third level in that is where you start to know, okay, I'm a conscious competent. Okay. Did you see I had to delay there a little bit because I lost the third? I kind of stalled. Okay. That's what happened right there. But give me a break. All right. So the conscious competent is like, okay, I'm starting to see some wins. I'm starting to see some success. I'm starting to see some returns. But that's only stage 3 because of 4 stages. Stage 4 is where the masters reside. Stage 4 is where the best in the world live and operate. And that's when you are an unconscious competent. Now it's as though it's automatic. And unconscious competent are the people, the professionals, the pros who, man, they make it look so easy. Does that make sense? Okay. So you got to be able to endure the learning that navigates or moves you through all of those different levels. And then sixth, you got to visualize your success. You've got to see the end. You've got to see where it is that you're headed, right? So creating a clear mental image of what success looks like for you is critical to your success. You got to visualize the positive outcomes and the feelings of accomplishment. Let me pause there for just a moment, because the more you emotionalize the picture, the more powerful it becomes, and the speed with which you will take the action and implement what's necessary to create it, right, goes up tremendously. You got to do that. You got to visualize the outcome. And then lastly, you got to take breaks and recharge. I know that's probably one that you didn't expect. But remember, this is battling that attrition. You got to be the last person standing. So if that's going to happen, then you got to take care of yourself. And a big part of caring for yourself is making sure that you recharge. A big part of taking care of yourself is taking some breaks here and there. Even in the pros, now and then, they call a timeout, right? There's halftime for a reason. When we were kids, we had recess. It is not about just go until I get there, because the likelihood is you won't, because you didn't take care of yourself in the first place. Does that make sense? Okay, so you got to be willing to recharge. All right, so a framework again for not quitting, for being the last person standing, right? If you're going to win, a big part of winning is just being there long enough. A big part of winning is staying there long enough while everybody else falls out. Be the last person standing. Someone reached out to me recently and said, "Oh, I heard you kind of switch things up career-wise. Man, after 20 years, it's about damn time." And I was just like, this was the time that actually worked for me. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like wondering what you were doing. Well, I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, and I did so in the way that I desired to. And my time frame, and then I didn't put this in the response, but I was like, my time frame is my time frame. I wasn't there for you, and your opinion of what I was doing was not invited. See, what I know about people is that for the most part, you can win because most others will quit. You can win in your life because most other people will quit. Promise you, guaranteed, no doubt about it. So if you're not going to quit, you got to clarify why you're doing it. You're going to set some realistic expectations. You're going to break it down to smaller pieces. You're going to surround yourself with support, or be in an environment that, wants to see you win and is conducive to your growth. You're going to embrace failure and go through those stages of learning. And then ultimately, you visualize success. And then lastly, make sure that you build in or incorporate time for you to recharge. If you'll do those things, you're going to find yourself still there when everybody else fell off. Unmuting yourself is, in some ways, it is about you giving yourself permission to stay the course, but it's also you having the internal dialogue that supports you maintaining. It's crucial to your success. It's crucial to your winning. And that's what I want to see you do. That's what I want to see you do. So thank you for listening. And if this helps, don't keep it a secret. Let someone know about it. Let someone know that this podcast does exist. And if you aren't on the mailing list, you'll want to be. We're wrapping up the resilience email course. In a couple of weeks, maybe this week, okay, we'll be wrapping that up, but you can still be a part of it if you'll just send an email to info@courtlandwarren.com, or better yet, to save the team some time, what you could actually do is just go to the website, courtlandwarren.com, and download the free ebook. That gets you on our mailing list. It'll automatically register you for the resilience training class. And then soon to come, is the Resilience Unleashed live webinar. So be looking out for that announcement really shortly. I appreciate you. Thanks for listening. I appreciate all the feedback. If you have suggestions for subjects or titles, let me know. And if I can address it in a way that's valuable, I'll definitely do it. I want to see you win. And a big part of winning and achieving is determining that you're not going to quit. Let's do that. All right? We appreciate you. See you next time.